I'm raising a daughter.
Yeah, you can
Tell me, if I tell her to sit like a lady because I do tell her to sit like a lady, am I oppressing her?
What? Why are you telling her that?
I tell her to sit like a lady because wearing a dress and wearing tights and wearing jeans, it's not the same. Mm-hmm. And I tell her to sit like a lady. She knows when I say to sit like a lady what she must do. And when she's with Gogo, she can't. Name, surname, and where you from. Let's start there.
Hi, I'm Shika Ndhundhuma, and I'm from Pretoria, Atteridgeville.
Shika, in full?
It's Shika.
Shika.
I get that question a lot. Yo, everyone thinks.
No, I don't want to tell you my first name because we'll discuss it. So, what does Shika mean?
It basically means Holy Spirit descend. In Tsonga.
So, Umzalwane?
Yes.
Umzalwane or you're a Christian? Is there a difference?
Yes.
There is. Okay, no problem.
Actually,
we'll talk about that later.
We'll get there.
We'll talk about that later. Okay, tell me now. I need to understand something here. Mm-hmm. So you're an OT, right? You're an occupational therapist, and what I love about OTs in South Africa is it's like you are the real gem of the trade. I want you to explain for the audience that's your camera there, that one.
Okay, that one.
Yes. So I just want to understand this part. In very short, what is a social worker, what is a psychologist, what is a psychiatrist, and how do they differ from you? In very short, you just say this one does this one does this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so a social worker deals with social issues.
Yes.
So that's like family, interpersonal stuff. A psychologist deals with personal issues through talk therapy or group therapy, but they are not a doctor.
Okay.
So they don't prescribe medication. And then a psychiatrist is a medical doctor who prescribes medication. Those are the guys that are working at Vescopies and wherever. And they can do therapy, but in South Africa, it's usually the psychologist.
Okay.
And then, should I tell you about OT?
No. So, who's a shrink?
Shrink. Psychologist.
So those are the ones that people pay to go and see.
And talk.
The usual one, the one we see on in movies. So those are psychologists. And then, what is OT, especially in South African perspective? Because this is the part that I'm interested in.
Okay, so OT is, first of all, occupational therapy, but it is quite broad. So the simplest way I can explain it is that if you have a functional impairment caused by anything, we come and help you become more functional. A simple example is a stroke. Let's say you get a stroke. An OT will come. They'll teach you how to use a wheelchair. They'll teach you how to mobilize your house, how to get dressed, how to feed yourself. That's like sort of the OT we see at big public hospitals. It's more physical.
Okay.
OTs also do hand therapy. So after you break a bone or you slice your tendons and the orthopedic stitches you up, because you need your hands to function, OT helps.
Okay, it's fine. I'm more interested in the mental aspect of OT.
Okay.
Because that's where I'm interested in. And where do you come in? And you understand, I put it just so we could first deal with the psychologists, psychiatrists, and the social workers. Then where do you guys come in there?
Okay, so occupational therapy and mental health, okay? When someone is admitted to a psychiatric unit, depression, anxiety, whatever, they go to OT groups to learn life skills, and they also do, it's kind of like a group therapy session. It's a more practical version of what you would do with a psychologist. So OTs focus a lot on activities. That's like our medicine.
So the word occupational, does it mean that you do it for the community or for people who are job-based, people who are at work?
Occupational means activity.
Activity.
And occupation is an activity.
Okay, so it doesn't actually mean people who are employed. So any other activities and occupation. Thank you very much. It helps a lot.
Yeah.
So you guys are not necessarily people who are employed at on the job where there's employment.
No.
So you could work in a public clinic just to assist the public.
So what's happening now is there's a big focus on decentralizing psychiatric services. So taking them away from Vescopies and Steve Biko into the community. So you might find a mental health OT at a clinic, or you might find a regular OT at a clinic, but they are also qualified to do mental health. It's like a doctor; they can do most things.
That's fine. A lot of men find it difficult to talk to social worker, psychologist, psychiatrist, and OT. That I don't even think people know that OTs specialize in mental. Or when there's those, especially you guys in South Africa, you would more specialize in the mental aspect of things. Yeah. So I want you to explain to me, why do you think men find it difficult? Why do you think so?
Okay, I just want to correct something though. So mental health OT is less known than sort of the physical rehab.
Yeah.
So like men who get spinal cord injuries in hospitals, hands, whatever, they work with OTs a lot. But obviously they call us doctor because they don't know the difference.
Yes.
And in those settings we find that OTs...
So you guys are not doctors?
We're not doctors. It's a 4-year degree.
It's a 4-year degree.
Yes.
And then when you do your masters and stuff... And
you can become a doctor of OT, but you're not a medical doctor.
No, then it's fine. So OTs can be doctors.
They can get a PhD.
Okay, then it's fine. It's fine. Everyone can be a doctor. And then...
Yeah, so we find in those settings that men actually open up to the OT. Okay. A nice relationship is built. Yeah. They relate to us more than the doctors because we give them more time.
So that is the ones that are going through therapy.
Physical.
In terms of rehabilitation.
Yeah, physical rehab, yes.
So the purpose of us talking about this is to give a voice to men.
Okay.
Yes. So a lot of men die, and I understand why. I understand why as a man, but I want to understand why as a woman. Why do you think men die? Because you are in practice. Okay. What is the reason?
I mean, I'll tell you what they told us in the textbooks.
Okay.
That the masculine experiences, or masculinity in itself, is fragile. So for you to be bestowed this title of being a man, there are certain behaviors you need to do. And being vulnerable, being fragile, admitting that you're struggling, all those things don't really fit. It's more about...
So you guys studied men?
We studied sociology and sort of those things. We needed to understand society.
I don't want to get clouded because of that. But you guys, I know a lot of OTs in South Africa are female. I just don't know the stats.
Yes.
And so it goes with social workers and a lot of stuff. So those are... So could it be the reason why a lot of mental issues are not, I don't want to say detected, are not getting the correct intervention because men find it difficult to open to women? Or is it what is it?
I think it's because men find it difficult to open up.
To?
Generally.
Oh, generally.
Generally.
Okay, so let me speak as a man. I know a lot of reasons why men wouldn't want to talk. For example, we have pride. That's number one. And I'm not going to come to you, Shika, and say, so what are you going to do? I don't know. So if it's not going to solve anything, a lot of men, and I'm speaking for me, a lot of men find what am I going to do? Because if a man comes to you and says, I've got problems, how are you going to assist? So to the men there looking at you, what can you tell them? Because suicide would so no one is going to laugh at you when they commit suicide and stuff.
because when they come out, they don't look like heroes. Because it's very difficult for men. And I'll, in a few, I'll explain why it's very difficult for men. So what can you tell a man now who's going through
and has problems?
Yes.
One, you have to speak up. And if you can't tell if you can't tell your girlfriend, if you can't tell your
let's
friends,
say she's the source of the problem.
I think going to a local clinic, and it's very inconvenient, but talking to a nurse or talking to someone impartial, like a pastor, or some workplaces have those employee wellness programs, but talking is the start of everything.
Oh, okay.
Because we can't just detect by looking at people like, okay, this one's depressed, this one's stressed. It's the start. And some problems are situational.
Yeah.
Some problems are you have a mental health concern, but you don't have a mental illness.
Yes.
And then some problems are you have a mental illness.
So, depression, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to discuss a lot of them, but depression, we can't diagnose ourselves, right?
Mm.
So, maybe I'm depressed. I think I have problems. And then maybe the problem is that I'm depressed. So I just want to know, the chicken and egg. Can I have problems that will lead to depression? Or depression could be the problem that I have? What is the thing?
Both.
Both
are right.
So I can be all normal. And I will talk about Tyson Fury, the best boxer in the world currently. He's a heavyweight. I watched this video, he's talking about depression, and it scared me. The reason it scared me is it's almost similar to everyone suffering, and men in particular. They've got everything. I mean, when I say everything, they've got the money, they've got the kids, they've got the wife, they've got the cars, they've got the riches. They don't have to wake up every day and answer to everyone. They've got everything settled. But they will still suffer
from depression.
Yes, depression. So that's why I'm asking, is your problem the depression, or you've got problem that cause depression? What is it?
Either or. How we arrive at the depression, it doesn't really matter to us professionals.
Oh, okay.
Because some people are depressed because they're unemployed.
Yes.
And then a doctor might prescribe antidepressants. It's not going to make them find a job, but it's going to help them have more energy and be less suicidal.
Okay.
And I'm, like me personally, if I can disclose, I suffer from depression myself. And I can't really say there are things in my life that are causing that depression. It's not situational.
So did you self-diagnose?
No. No one can self-diagnose. I don't think so. I started going to therapy, psychotherapy with a psychologist when I was about 19, 20, because I thought I had a bad childhood. Yeah. And I did, and she started recommending to me, you should see a psychiatrist. Let's think about medication. And I'm like, I don't know. Even as
how old were you then?
19, 20.
1920. You were still in university.
Like second year, yeah. And even
what made you think you should go and consult?
I could see. I think I had been depressed for a long time, and also we learn about depression at school. So as I'm listening to the lecturer, I'm like, okay, that sounds like me. Yeah, I have these problems, but I intuit, like, based on my experiences, I already knew I had depression.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So let me talk about men. I'll give an example about me. And Majida, sorry, I'm not saying all of you. So men in particular, we have problems that are systematic. We've got problems that can't be solved. There are a lot of problems that a man must just have to do with them, but there are no solutions. And so if a man is poor, a man is poor. There's no shortcut. You would either go to crime or you work your ass off until you get whatever you need to get. And some of those could also involve criminal activities. So
True.
A man can be rescued. A woman can be.
True.
Yes. So
okay.
you suffer in a relationship, you understand, when you are poor, you lose a relationship. So you can't go under a relationship. So if you have a house, you've got kids, you've got a car, you lose your job. Chances are you might lose all of those things.
That is true.
Yes, so I'm stating that as a man, men go through a lot because the system is framed for men to go through a lot. Those who benefit from men going through a lot, they want more from men, but they don't want to give anything in return.
Who benefits?
And we'll talk about it later.
I'm a radical feminist, so I'm gonna challenge a lot of your views. But
no, thank you very much, because this is what I. So you're a Christian, you're a feminist. So you are all of those things. So I just want you to understand. Okay, let's talk about things that women are benefiting from.
My question is, who designed the patriarchy?
No, look.
This system that's oppressing men, who designed it? Men.
Okay. Look, I don't want us to go there now.
I'm just saying.
To go there now. I just want you to understand that a lot of things work because men have put their hands on it. A lot of things that work for women, né? It's what choices they made. It's the choices that women made. And so this is, let me give you a simple example. So I play golf. So you know the tee boxes where men and women hit from. They're different. For women it's shorter because they're the fairer sex, right? And men accommodate that. So in world of sports, I mean sportsmen, in the world of sports, Serena Williams has gotten into a tiff with the Tennis Association demanding that they get equal pay with men. But you know what was the problem? The problem is they play 3 sets, men play 5 sets. So that could mean Djokovic mostly plays 5 hours when he ties people up. So it's almost like we work 5 days. So women work Monday to Wednesday, men work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. But the women demand to be paid the same. You understand where I say not all this patriarchal mentality is actually men who demanded and wanted it. It's a fair share of what women demanded to have.
I think
you
it's
understand.
more complicated than that.
No, but I'm saying women have a choice to say, no, we want to play 5 sets. Women have a choice to say, no, we want to play at the same tee boxes. We want to hit as hard as you guys do. You understand what I'm saying?
But has it been said that Serena refuses to play 5 sets?
No. I'm saying if she wants to, she can. Yes, if she wants to, she can.
So then a fair discussion can be had with the Tennis Association to say, if you guys...
But I was just using it as an example that women actually determine what they want and they are given. So when they are given what they wanted, they shouldn't show it as proof of... You know, women would say they are strong, they can do anything as much as... And I don't want to go to those nitty-gritties, but if most women actually want to do that, they can actually. They can. Women can form construction companies.
Yes.
They could work, and I've seen it working.
Yes.
The majority of women not doing that, not choosing that. You guys are shaping the narrative that you don't want this kind of job. You want this kind of job. And you and I, we are working, and we know wherever we are working, there are certain things that women refuse to do, or women choose not that. I would rather take this one than that. We do know that.
I think that's what I was saying, like, as much as I'm a health professional working in the medical world, to help people is to understand society. Women are socialized in a very specific way. girl children and boy children are not raised the same. Even long ago, I remember I was having a conversation with my grandmother just this week, and she's like, growing up, she had one desire. She just wanted to be a wife. She couldn't understand the value of school. She couldn't understand the value. Okay, like you have to work for money, but she'd rather like clean her own house than the madam's house.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is that as we analyze the differences between men and women,
Yes.
how we're socialized plays a role.
Yes.
You guys are socialized to achieve.
I want you to hold it there, ne? Mosadi ke moshadi wakarai. So it was like that. Then she was supposed to do certain things, and it's not patriarchy.
It is.
Yes, it wasn't patriarchy. I don't believe it was. Okay, maybe it was, but they are not framing it in a negative light like we do.
Yeah, patriarchy is a neutral word.
Yes, because sometimes people use it in a negative way to say it's done against women. So those things, those setup were not done against women. Let me tell you, most men that I know, the reason I'm saying most men that I know is I don't represent all men. Most men that I know do not have a problem with the setup that you're talking about. Say, she wants to be, and you know, I've heard a lot of women say this, and I actually support them. They say they just want to be a housewife to a rich guy. And there's nothing wrong with it. You hear what I'm saying?
It's an internal...
What is wrong is when someone, a feminist like you, comes and say, yeah, a woman's place is not in the kitchen, a woman's place is not baby. What roles do you want? So you sit there and you think, okay, then tell us what you want.
Can I
If
explain?
A woman is washing dishes and she's nurturing.
Can I explain from a woman's
Please
point of view?
Please do.
And from a feminist's point
Please
of view?
do.
Okay. So I'm a radical feminist.
Sure.
Yes. But I think feminism is about choice. Okay? I think the angry tone of voice associated with feminism is because of an oppression. Not all feminists are the same. If I'm a feminist, I'm for women. So if you tell me your wife is happy being the caretaker of the kids, I feel in terms of feminism, she's happy. She
but
has
are
equal...
you know the problem with toxic femininity is you guys, you seem to antagonize everything that is male, everything that is if you are not happy seeing men and women getting along.
I think...
And the feminism that comes from African women in particular scares a lot of us. And I'll show you a lot of examples. We do not have a problem with men who rape, men who do scandalous and monsters, people who beat women and stuff. We do not have a problem with them being arrested and maybe called out and being muted, we do not have a problem. We can do that, and most men actively do that. But do you know what the problem is? The problem is the feminist agenda that we support during that. They would go silent and mute whenever one of their own is found wanting.
Like who?
Like, I'll give an example. If there's, I don't want to talk about people's names in media, but there are female characters in our media who have abused their right of being a woman and cried rape, even if it's not.
Yes.
So we are saying, why don't you guys help us to single out, condemn these women, and if you were cancelling African men for doing something wrong, why can't you cancel African females for doing wrong? And I'll tell you why that is. That consistency buys you support to say, no, we actually want team, because whatever you are doing, we also do. And this is the problem I have with feminists who are as African as you guys. Because I believe you guys are used
by Western feminism.
Yes, to divide the strong black family.
No.
This is what I believe, and I want you to convince me otherwise.
I mean, this is the same dilemma women had during the civil rights movement in America. Because on one side, in the 60s, women were preaching feminism, but on the other side, it's also like black rights, so they were stuck in the middle. So this conflict that we have as black women of being both feminist or wanting women's freedom and wanting the black family to thrive, it's always been there, and it's not unique to Africans. One.
It's actually unique to Africans, and I'll tell you why.
But in the States,
so let's talk about the civil rights in the 60s. So the problem with the civil rights in the 60s was white females would convince the few Africans, the females, of course, to stand up for their rights. But the biggest issue of females at the time, the biggest issue, wasn't patriarchy. Their issue wasn't, it has always been about racism. Mm-hmm. And that's why you would see often Afeni Shaku, who would then find solace inside the Black Panther movement. It's because her issues, I mean, there are still lots of issues, even in the white community.
I just believe as a woman, it's a double layer that a man cannot understand.
Of course.
They are
I appreciate.
They are equally important. The first thing that I was ever oppressed about is being a girl in South Africa.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, women are oppressed. It's like, no, you need to wear this. No, you need to do this. It's like you can't be any African child can tell you about
I'm raising a daughter.
Yeah, you can
tell me. If I tell her to sit like a lady, because I do tell her to sit like a lady, am I oppressing her?
Why are you telling her that?
I tell her to sit like a lady because wearing a dress and wearing tights and wearing jeans, it's not the same. Mm-hmm. And I tell her to sit like a lady. She knows when I say to sit like a lady what she must do. And when she's with Gogo, she can't be loose in the way that she walks. It's because she's a woman.
It's an oppression.
Yes, men have pants. They can do things. A little boy can make a somersault and spread her legs and spread his legs.
But why is it sexualized
when
girls do that?
No.
I'm talking about 8-year-olds,
yes.
7-year-old kids.
I want to tell you exactly that. So when it's a girl, when she does that, she can't do it wearing a skirt, right?
I don't agree.
So she can do it with a skirt and show panties
can I tell you
during the people?
Can I tell you my opinion?
No. I want us to discuss this because I told you I'm the kind of dad that says,
I understand.
Sit like a lady, and I tell her to do that. I want to understand from a feminist when I do that.
I think what we're looking at as feminists from an academic point of view, it's the hypersexualization of young children, young girls. When do boys become aware they are sexual beings versus when girls become aware that they are sexual beings? And is that introduction the same? Because I could be in grade 7, maybe slightly oversized, what do you call it, plus size?
Yes.
But I'm a kid, I'm 12 years old, yes. I'm wearing a skirt.
Yes.
And then some 37-year-old man says my size and type.
Okay.
That is the problem. A 12-year-old boy won't have that experience.
Of course.
And in trying to be protective as a father, I can understand, obviously, on a subjective point of view. But what it's actually doing, it's putting responsibility on women on don't get raped. Be careful.
Shika, let's go back to the sit like a lady.
Don't attract attention as snacks.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Yes. No. I'm saying...
Be modest. Don't be a target.
Okay. So we do know what indecent exposure is, right? It's Zodo Wabantu kind of public showing of what we consider private. And so I don't come from a deeply religious background myself. Grew up going to church like any other normal person. I don't come from a deeply traditional and cultural someone. But I do know there are certain values that carries people. I would not want my girl to end up like Sodwabantu. This is just me as a father. So because that's indecent exposure. And that's why I wanted to learn from an early age that
she must sit like a lady.
She must sit like a lady.
I feel like
and it happens whenever I'm feeling that she's overexposing herself. Exactly. You see what I think I'm doing. I think I'm trying to correct where I don't want her to end up. I don't want her to end up at Zotowabantu. So you tell me, as a man raising a daughter, what should I do?
I think the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I don't think men outright seek to oppress women, or like they wake up in the morning and think, how can I make my daughter's life hell?
Yes.
But it's those socializations, it's those unconscious beliefs.
So I'm overprotective and I might mess it up. That's what you're saying?
I think it's better to have conversations with your daughter about her body. Like, what do you think about your body? Or the body?
Damn.
What do you think? Why is it okay for guys?
So you're not answering the question.
Yes.
About sitting like a lady.
I think it's oversimplified and archaic and lazy.
All right, no.
Sorry.
I'm
sure you're a good father.
Yes.
I think it's lazy.
All right, it's fine. Look, I'm just going to admit, maybe in time I will get the answer of what is it that I should do.
Just talk to her about her body. Ask her what she thinks about her body.
Then I'll learn from her how it's done.
And I mean, if you ask Zotwa what she thinks about her body, I'm just assuming.
Yeah.
Her body has always been an object. So now she's capitalizing on the objectification of women. But if you can teach a young girl, hey, your body's not an object. No one's allowed to talk to you like that. This is your body. And that goes a long way into things like body autonomy and consent. And them understanding that this body of mine, just because you're my boyfriend, if I don't want to hug you, I don't want to hug you. This is my body. But no one has these conversations with women. And I mean, I learned all of this after the death of Uyinene. And, there was all this feminist discussion and discourse. And it made me reflect on my life. Like, I was just taught to be a good girl. But like, when you look at those values, they're empty.
That's it, eh?
It's empty. So what, you wear a long skirt? Mara, what if oloya batho? But you wear a long skirt.
So you believe buloi vapel?
Yes.
So as an OT, someone pops into your let me call it a practice for frame of reference. Someone walks into your practice and says, Shika, where do you take it from there?
Well, I mean, first of all, an assessment.
Yeah.
Because you came to.
So you are doing a professional because you guys do scientific measures. So you are going to do a scientific assessment to draw out.
And remember, a lot of mentally ill people have delusions about they're very paranoid.
Yeah.
So we sometimes look at it as a symptom. Because
after this, I want us to go and discuss people who have a calling. So, but let's finish this one. So someone comes in and then you make that assessment. Tell me the steps when you are done with the assessment. What if you find this, what happens? What you find this, what happens? And when are you going to start believing in Mamelodi? Yes.
Okay, so to make things simple, psychiatry in this book, it's called the DSM-5.
Okay.
And it's got a list of all the conditions, mental health conditions, and the criteria.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like two psychiatrists can disagree on what depression is.
So the
It's
symptoms will
standard.
lead there.
Yes, it's standard.
Okay, sharp.